I am from Formula.
Oh. All right. Sorry about the little technical difficulties.
Welcome to Formula Friday. I'm Nick, that's Lewis. This is your weekly Formula One show. We've got a lot to get to today, including, of course, we're going to review COTA. We're going to talk about the Apple TV streaming deal in America, and we have a lot of other updates in the Formula 2 world. But, as always, let's start out. Lewis, how's your week been?
Been all right. Pretty busy. That's pretty normal, I'd suspect, from being a dad and everything. How about yourself?
Stop me if you've heard this one before. I've been playing a lot of chess and NASCAR.
Oh, I have heard that before, but this might be a new chapter.
Um, so I play a game of chess every single day. During my lunch break at work, I do a 15-10 format, 15 minutes, and then you get 10 seconds per move. It's just it's a comfortable time limit for me, and it doesn't take my entire lunch break, and it's just a relatively quick. I'm gonna sit down and play a game, and I'm just trying to have a streak where I just play one game every day, and I'm slowly trying to crawl my way out of that weird elo pit that I forced myself into a couple weeks ago. And I had a pretty good streak this last week. I had won 3 or 4 games in a row in that format, but I lost a game today, and that killed my momentum. It's not as bad as it was this time last week, but I just made really dumb mistakes, and it was one of those where the second I got punished for that mistake, it's like, crap. Of course. Why did I do that? I'm such an idiot. Um so that's mostly been the chess stuff, and then the NASCAR stuff. Lewis, I might be back in on NASCAR.
Ooh, what was the deciding factor?
I If I'm going to be honest, it's the game. It's NASCAR 25. It's been a lot of fun, and we talked about this last week. NASCAR was my first love in motorsports, and it was going to come calling back to me eventually. The game has done a very good job of pulling me back in. I hear the point system is going to get reworked and changed for next season, so it's not going to be quite as stupid. I don't know what that means as far as playoffs or anything go. This isn't a NASCAR podcast, so I don't know. But also this weekend, so my fiance ran a 50K, which took about 6 hours, give or take. And during that time, I got her into Formula One, so we've been watching the races together. But since she was running, I didn't want to watch the race without her, and I would have just watched it on my phone, and that's
Yeah.
not good viewing. So I just waited until we got home after her race, until we watched, and we sat down and we watched COTA together, hours after the fact. But while I was waiting, she doesn't care about NASCAR, and they were racing at my favorite track on Sunday, Talladega.
Ooh.
And I said, you know what? If I'm gonna try to do this, I'm going to watch them race at my favorite track, see what's up. And I know a little bit about current drivers. We talked about this last week. I was a Dale Jr. guy. Dale was always my favorite driver. He doesn't have any Cup teams, but he has teams in the Busch Series.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of keeping. I want to keep up more with the Busch Series, but on the Cup, there's this driver Shane Van Ginsenberg.
Shane Van Ginsburg.
Ginsberg. He came up, like, he raced in Australia a lot, did a lot of touring, and now he's in NASCAR. And he is a road course specialist, and he rips at road courses. And I've seen highlights, and this dude naturally good at racing road courses because that's what he's done his whole life.
Yeah.
And he's starting to get better at racing ovals because for the longest time, people were triggered by this guy. They're like, "No, you too many road courses in NASCAR. This guy can't, he shouldn't do that." By the way, NASCAR road courses are insane because they're allowed to do it's not corner cutting, but like it's overshooting turns to try to maintain momentum, which I still need to come to terms with if I'm going to get back into NASCAR. I kind of hate that, but track limits just don't matter, except for specific turns in COTA. Ironically, I guess it's kind of dumb. Their whole argument is if there's pavement, I'm going to drive on it, but I like the skill it takes to stay within between the lines and still be fast. side rant. Sorry. The point
You're
is,
good.
I watched Talladega, and it was really cool. And SVG was actually running in the top 5 for a good portion of it. And I like Bubba Wallace too. And then SVG hit a spot of water on the track, and he ended up because he was on his way to the pits. He hit a spot of water, and he ended up sliding sideways, didn't hit
Mm.
anybody, and he ended up in the infield. Um, and everybody thought he just locked up because he's inexperienced, doesn't understand ovals. But he said my tire slipped on the wet on the part of the there's a weeper is what they call it, some water coming out of the track. It's like my tire hit that and I spun out. And sure enough, like nobody really believed him at first, but then they did the replay. Sure enough, his tire went right where that wet spot on the track was.
Hmm.
They're like, yeah, I guess he would know. I mean, he's
Yeah.
raced in the rain. He knows what it feels like. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm back in on NASCAR. I don't know how in on NASCAR I'm going to be because I still need to get reacclimated with everything because it's a lot different than it was in 2011 when I had originally stopped watching. But there's just something about cars going fast in circle and sometimes
Yeah.
road course. There's just something about it, and it's really cool to watch it happen. And like I said, I've been playing on my wheel, NASCAR 25 on the wheel, which is incredible, by the way.
Yeah.
I love playing on my wheel, and it feels really good. The number 37 ARCA car. She is a great car. Her driver's bad, but
Yeah. It's usually what happens. You're right.
I,
I,
I almost wanted Iowa Speedway last night. I'm so
oh,
pissed off because other people kept spinning me out, and Iowa Speedway feels good because I played Iowa Speedway in NASCAR Heat 5,
yeah.
and I never really liked that track, but the laser scanned iRacing NAS Iowa Speedway in NASCAR 25 feels so good.
It
And
does.
it's my home race. So I wanted to win and I wanted to do well. I wanted to get my first top 10 in ARCA. And I kept getting spun out, and then I ended up getting spun out. There was like 5 laps, 10 laps left. I was in the back of the pack, and I worked my way up to 19th or 20th.
Okay. Not bad.
So I still worked up, but I could have had that top 10, man. I could have
Yeah.
had it.
What do you do for race distance? Do you do a full length?
I do 25.
Oh, that's not bad.
25 is a really good spot for me. I'm not doing any fuel or tires my first season just because I wanted to get acclimated. But my second season at ARCA, because I will be doing a second season at ARCA, I'm not going to get the rep to move on to trucks. I'm going to put it on 25% fuel and tires just to,
Okay.
or not 25, 4 times is what they recommend for
Yeah.
20 or quarter length distance.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play around with that and try to make it a bit more strategic, I guess.
Yeah, I've always so I used to run in NASCAR league. We would on iRacing. We would always switch up the car every season. So we went from ARCA to Xfinity to Cup to truck. We would just do everything. But Iowa is
Hmm.
one of those tracks that I love. I'm not an oval racer. It's one of the reasons I stopped doing the league. I'm just not an oval racer. I prefer IMSA. I prefer open wheel and all that. But Iowa is just one of those tracks that I fell in love with. I love the late braking, the turn 1 and 2 is just it's bumpy up top, it's nice, and then three
Hmm.
and four. If you just get on the gas too much on the exit of four, you kind of like you push up to the wall, you lose the rear end. It's fun. I love it. Uh, Another thing I forgot to mention, basketball's back, so I'm really happy about that. I got to see my
Oh,
Thunder
yeah, you
raise
got
up
to
the
see them
banner.
raise the banner.
Yeah, raise the banner, get their championship ring. It was nice to finally see that come to fruition, I guess. And speaking of one champion, how about another champion? Yeah, he's a champion, Max Verstappen.
He is a three-time champion.
Quotations up there.
Of course, I'm joking. Max obviously has he's a 4-time Formula One champion. I can't take that away from him. I can't say anything bad about that. It's true. It happened, and I can't let Nicholas Latifi change history. But yes, let us talk about the. Okay, so really quick rant. It bugs me that this is the American Grand Prix, but Miami and Las Vegas are still a thing, but they just call them or the US Grand Prix, but then Miami is just the Miami Grand Prix and then Vegas is just the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I understand it, but I'm being pedantic because both those other two races are also in America. I mean, if we want to get really pedantic, so is Mexico, but North America,
Yeah,
It bothers me more than it should, but I was thinking about that a lot today. I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm like, it is kind of weird like I'm glad it's not the Texas Grand Prix. Like I like that it's the US GP, but still.
Now, how does it make you feel that Formula One used to race called the European Grand Prix?
I have heard about that. That's
Yes, it would. They would
yeah.
do it in the Nurburgring, Brands Hatch, somewhere in Spain. Yeah, I think Baku maybe. But like, yeah, they used to run just the European Grand Prix,
Hmm,
which is I don't know North American Grand Prix next, I guess.
I guess. But
Well, yeah, let's have a race that goes
whatever you
between the
want to call it,
borders. Yeah.
we were at Circuit of the Americas in Texas, outside of Austin, Texas. This is one of my favorite tracks. Um, I didn't get a chance to watch any practice or qualifying or even the sprint, but I heard about what happened in the sprint from
I,
some random guy in the store. So that's cool.
yeah, I'm on the same boat. I did not get to be able to watch qualifying. Once again, just busy, kids, etc.
Hmm. It'd be
And
that
then
way.
yeah, and then I got to watch the sprint race, which was a very exciting first eighth of a lap.
What happened? What happened in the first eighth of a lap at the sprint?
I don't even know. It would be like a 13th of a lap. I don't know how many corners there are on this track. But anyways, so weirdly enough, it was Max Verstappen. I think Hulkenberg was like P3 or something like that. It was really
Wild.
yes. But he was up there and going into the famous T1 at COTA uphill. You know, you got that sharp bank, and it looked like they were trying to make it four wide. I think it was Stroll, or I can't remember who it was on the inside of Piastri, maybe or
Four wide at turn one at Coda is insane, by the
yeah.
way.
Basically, and then one of the McLarens, I forget which one. It in the end, it didn't matter. And here's why: one of the McLarens went to turn, car there, get bumped, and then bumped the other McLaren, and both McLarens out within like a corner. And I think it was Piastri that hit Lando. Lando lost a tire. Literally, they showed the rubber rolling down the track, and Piastri broke tie rod or push
Was it
bar.
so? It was like a. It was almost like a domino effect. Like
Yes,
Hulk hit Piastri, then Piastri hit Lando's tire, and then he flung up, and then it forced Lando out.
yes, and that collision between the McLarens caused Piastri to lose his pull rod, push rod, one of the two. I forget how they're set up, and that just snapped, and you can see it just flopping like this. And I don't know if that caused. I don't want to be too spoilers. I don't know if that caused a bad weekend for them because they didn't get to see how the car truly performed in race pace.
Hmm.
So I don't know. That was pretty much it. I think Max ended up just driving away.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It seems
Yeah.
like the theme for the weekend. Spoilers.
Max is
Then
Sunday driving on a Saturday.
Max is Sunday driving on a Saturday and a Sunday. We mentioned we didn't get to check out qualifying or um any of the practice sessions. So let's just move on to the race.
That's fine with me.
Uh-huh. Lap
Uh,
1. Max already had a 1.5 second gap.
yeah. He was
Oh
just
my god.
he. I. You know what? I am all for it. Max Verstappen somehow making this a championship battle at the end.
You, you want to know what the messed up thing is, dude? I've been thinking about this. At first, as a joke, when it first got brought up on Twitter, someone was like, Max Verstappen could still win the championship, and this is how. And it was this insane list of boxes that needed to be checked. But now 2/3 of the boxes have been checked. And
Yes.
I've been thinking about it a lot more. If Max somehow finds a way to win this championship, and I'm saying this as a McLaren fan, I'm a McLaren fan. I don't know if I'll be mad if he finds a way to win this championship because of the absurdity of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll still be a little mad, but it's it's hard to be mad that Max Verstappen somehow found a way to win this championship in this way because he is literally the best driver of any car in the entire world. Of course, if it was gonna, it had to be Max. Of course, it would be Max. It literally could not be anybody else ever. It is just Max,
yeah.
and he's gonna find a way to do it, and it's gonna suck, and it's gonna sting, and all the Max fans are gonna attack all the McLaren fans because that's what they do, I guess, for some reason. And it's going to be a hellish offseason for me. But next year, new regulations, so nothing matters anyway.
I didn't get the
I just,
picture primed.
it's fine. It's a great picture. I've had this rant built up all week, and I've been waiting just to spew it all over. I'm gonna be
waiting for it.
upset, but I can't be mad about it. It's inevitable. Max is inevitable. Max Verstappen. By the way, do you know where Red Bull is in the constructor points right now? I know the constructors don't really matter, but have you seen where Red Bull is in the constructors
I
at
want
this
to
point?
say like P3 or something, because isn't Ferrari up there?
Third in the
Yeah.
constructors, and it's just been him. Yuki is what? 10 of those points, maybe?
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
How? How the hell has Max single-handedly made Red Bull a competitor for second in the constructors and also turned himself into a legitimate championship contender when Lando and Oscar have been running away with it all season?
I don't know. It is no secret that Red Bull car was poo poo at the very beginning of the season, and he would still be able to drive it. And I feel like he is still he's Max Verstappen, like this poo poo car. It's insane.
Isn't it interesting that it seems like the car got better after Horner got fired?
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that happened.
Both drivers on both accounts. Feels like
Yeah.
they've been driving a lot better since Horner got canned.
Yeah, it's almost like Horner was the problem.
Crazy, wild.
Yeah, that's a wild thing. That's a whole. I don't know if that's a whole nother rant. I think we just pretty much just solemnly agree. Horner, not a good guy.
Yeah. Anyway, that was lap 1.
Yeah, yeah.
That
also,
whole rant brought to you by lap 1.
yeah. Also, this is going to come into effect later on. Before the race, Ferrari and their infinite strategy wisdom decided to put Leclerc on softs, Lewis on hards.
Which, unironically, was a fantastic idea.
Yes, it was amazing. I
think they accidentally stumbled into that. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that was on purpose.
Is this like 1,000 monkeys riding Shakespeare type of situation?
Exactly. It's like, all right, well, everybody's going to do this hard first, so let's put Lewis on that because he needs the help. Charles, I mean, we're going to split the strategies, or what's the offset the strategies?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're just going to get the softs first because, I mean,
not only
it'll
just
make up
softs,
for itself.
Yeah, not only softs, they were used softs too.
Yeah. And he just freaking crushed it. Charles is incredible. I love Charles. Charles is, I think, the second best driver this season in Formula One. I do think that. Is that a hot take? Because Oscar is good, but he doesn't have the consistency of Charles.
You know what? I don't know if that's a hot take, but I subscribe to that. I like that.
And as good as Oscar is, Charles, I mean, I said the consistency, but he's more level-headed than Oscar is.
Yes.
Which feels weird to say because of, the whole Oscar's so stoic kind of thing. But Charles has been so beat down by Ferrari that I think the only things he feels are sad and racing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you heard his piano music? It is very sad.
It's so beautiful, though.
It is so beautiful. It is like a very, like rain on a window, just like sad but beautiful. It's calming.
It's not fair, by the way. He's attractive. He's a Formula One driver. He's an incredible Formula One driver. He's an amazing musician. He plays chess. This man is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, he's just so sad.
I think to balance all of these good things out, he drives a Ferrari. So it balances it all out.
He keeps himself in check with Ferrari just to make sure that it's not too good to be true.
Yeah, you got to have the yin and yang.
Mm-hmm. Ferrari is definitely a yang. So Leclerc looked great on the softs. We knew that already by lap 4, the used softs.
Yes.
Lap 5, we started to get an appetizer for what the entire race turned into, which is track limit violations everywhere.
Yes.
Isaac kind of kicked it all off, but multiple people, Lando was getting track limit violations before halfway through the race.
Yeah.
When he was chasing down Max, and he had to slow down And it was to the point where they were telling Max, "Hey, just drive it. Lando's going to be racing hard. He's already got the violations, and once he gets that fourth one, he's 5 seconds back. So just race."
Yeah, and it was so I use it's called F1 Multiviewer. Highly
Mhm.
recommend this application. It is amazing. You don't have to pay for it. You use your F1 TV subscription for it. Great app.
For
You
now.
can yeah. Well, uh but then like you can have different things, and they have this one. It's like a driver tracker, and it's really cool. It has all the locations of the drivers, and it has radio messages, and it has FIA messages. And the
Mhm.
FIA messages, you can turn off the setting, but I have it on. It will create a chime when something happens. So I'm sitting there watching the race, taking notes for this podcast, and I just hear bink, bink, bink. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's track limits, track limits, track limits, track limits, track limits. It's like track deleted or time deleted, time deleted, time deleted. I'm like, jeez, it was just going crazy.
I've never. I shouldn't say never. I don't remember the last time I saw so many track limit violations in a race. I've definitely seen a race where there's been a lot, but it's been a minute. It's been within the last 5 years.
I would say, well, I would say 2 or 3 years ago at Austrian. I about said Austin again. The Austrian Grand Prix, the Red
Hmm.
Bull Ring. They were given like penalties and track limits galore there.
They were it. It's insane. And I know at the top we talked about NASCAR and how when
Yeah.
they race at road courses and stuff, they kind of overshoot. It's more of a suggestion. But even these guys who are trained specifically to stay inside the lines were struggling. And I don't know if that's an issue with the track because it was happening so much, or if that's an issue with the car or the wind because I know the wind was blowing in a very specific
Yes.
direction too, or if it's just everybody's pushing really hard.
I think it might be a combination of all three. This as much flack as I give this track for being a tilt track, it is a very technical, good track. I will say
Hmm.
that begrudgingly, I think is the right word. Uh,
Yeah,
but I think that because I think the wind was pushing them down or against on that straight specifically. Like that was like it was
yeah, that
one of the
sounds about
directions
right.
there, and yeah, I think just pushing there and then pushing to get past somebody, and it is a very tight tactical track, so it's kind of hard to pass. So you kind of got to push a little bit. Which pushing means you're going to off track a little bit. It's yeah. Oh, it was yeah. The track limits were insane.
Then a lot happened in the first part of this race.
Yes.
We're on lap 6 now. Kimi Antonelli tried to overtake Carlos Sainz, or they were fighting, or something, and it ended with Carlos getting taken out. And I thought Kimi was out too, but he just kind of kept puttering along.
Yes.
Now, Carlos was the one found at fault for this, and every time I look at the angle, it doesn't look like that was Kimi's corner. It didn't look like that Kimi, or sorry, who was ahead of who? It was
I
Carlos coming up on Kimi, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Uh, Gosh, it's been a couple days, but
I guess I'm trying to
yeah,
remember what the overtake rule is or the corner rule. Is it if your front tire is at
their
the
mirror,
their
I think,
mirror?
or something like that.
It
Yeah.
looked it looked really close, and it didn't look like it was Carlos's fault. It kind of looked like it was Kimi's fault because
Yeah.
Carlos was on the inside, and it looked like Kimi just cut down, but Carlos was the one found at fault for that. And not only was he found at fault, he was also given 2 points on his license.
Ooh, I didn't know that part, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's I. It's weird. There's one FIA rule I do not agree with is it is the driver's corner. I think
Hmm.
racing's racing, and like giving someone room while racing is kind of contradicting to racing. In my opinion, I feel like I get it for safety reasons and all this, but it's just, hey, you race, but hey, give them space when you're racing. Like, don't race them too hard. So it's kind of contradicting in my opinion. But that
I I don't mind that rule.
okay,
I think I mind that it's if you're overtaking somebody, you need to be at their mirror because that seems way too far up. I would put it at maybe to the cockpit at least.
okay, to the driver, like
To the driver. I think that would help, but I do like the extra kind of layer that it adds to Formula 1 where like you're not trying to wreck other people. There's other race series that are about wrecking, and that's fine for those race series, but Formula 1 has always been about precision to me. And that is all part of it. I just don't agree with the pinpoint of where that precision should be. And we could argue a lot about how specific the FIA is, especially when it comes to Formula 1. But I don't think that the driver's corner rule is a bad rule. I just think it could still be tweaked a
Yeah.
little better to still give it, because you still get good racing out of it. The problem is drivers try to find loopholes, because I mean, who wouldn't? Drivers and teams try to find loopholes about it, and at the end of the day, it's like baseball, you know? An ump calls a ball a strike. It's a
Yeah.
judgment call at the end of the day. Real people are making these decisions, and I don't mind the room for human error. It's just annoying when it happens, when it feels, at least to me, like it was pretty blatantly not Carlos's fault, and it did look like Kimi swooped in, and I don't know why they wouldn't give the benefit of the doubt to the more experienced driver over the rookie.
Yeah. So in a weird way, yeah, it's like he didn't realize he was there because it was a late lunch, but
Mhm.
I just watched it back just to remember what happened entirely. But yeah, it looked like a late lunch, and he didn't look like didn't look in his mirror. But yeah, it looked like Kimmy turned into him. But I don't know.
Now, with Max doing his thing or whatever, the race really kind of boiled to me. What I was paying the most attention to was the Lando versus Charles battle,
Oh,
which, again, Charles was on softs this whole time, used
used,
softs.
yes,
And Lando didn't get past Charles until lap 21, and that's only because Charles went into pit
yeah. It
to,
was
to get the hards.
it was
That's it.
such a good battle. I was like, obviously Max checked out. He was like, we were at that point where it's like, okay, cool. Max is already he would. I wouldn't be surprised if Max had a pit stop advantage over second place. He was just that far ahead, and that battle was so good between 2 and 3.
Hmm. It okay. I'm gonna put on my McLaren Homer hat, but I'm
Okay.
trying not. I'm trying to be objective at the same time here. I don't understand why Charles was fighting so hard to keep Lando behind when Ferrari is getting chased in the constructors by Red Bull. McLaren had already won the constructors, and them fighting like that was just increasing the gap to Max. If I'm Charles, I guess I would let Lando by sooner just so the gap didn't become what it turned into, because eventually Max did have a 25-second
Yeah.
lead. And in the pits in Austin, it's 21. You lose 21 seconds in the pit, and by the time Max did pit, he still was 6 seconds ahead of
Yeah.
everybody. I feel like it would have made more sense for Charles to not fight Lando as bad as he was fighting him, because Ferrari needs Red Bull to not do well. Essentially, is what it boils down to.
Yeah. But okay, so the counter argument to that, if you let me just argument to that, one Red Bull driver versus two Ferrari drivers.
Hmm.
So if you can keep Lando at bay, try to keep Lewis up there because Lewis is running P4, and he was,
Hmm.
or yeah, and he was within shot if they could just back up a little bit to get DRS, but he was still within like 2 second range or whatever. I don't know, maybe. Granted, 25 points, and then they would get like 12, so they would still lose points on there, but you're still. I feel like you would be banking more on your team than another team to beat a different team.
Yeah,
They're
no,
more less chaotic.
that's fair, and it is. It was my McLaren hat, so it is hard to take that off.
That's fine.
It was really frustrating, but I can't be mad about it. But I'm still a little bugged. I'm annoyed by it, a little perturbed. I also, by the way, Charles going into pit and going from the softs to the hards when every other driver was still in the softs and they eventually had to go to the hards. I'm going to call this the undercut of the season. I'm
Yeah.
going to call this right now. It is the best thing that Ferrari has ever accidentally stumbled into.
Yeah, because as much as it sucks it was a good strategy call, but we don't trust Ferrari. So was this a for sure?
There's no way in hell that was on purpose.
Yeah,
I don't believe it. I
exactly.
refuse to believe it. I think it was exactly what I said earlier. They just wanted to offset their strategies, and Charles drew the short straw. The short straw.
Yeah, I mean that's it sucks that we're giving such a high prestige team
Uh-huh.
like we don't give them the benefit of the doubt at all. It's like when it comes to strategy, it's like you guys did not mean to do this.
No, no way. Broken clocks are right twice a day.
Unless this is 24-hour clock.
You're right. So Charles came into pit. Um, Lando finally was in second, and Lando did a really good job of closing the gap the best he could to Max with what time he had, but it ended up not mattering. By lap 34, like I said, Max was already 25 seconds ahead. He pit,
Yeah.
he still came out in front. Lando was complaining about his tires by lap 40. And then by lap 51, Lando and Charles finally caught back up to each other and continued the fight. And it was essentially a tale of Lando holding off Charles until the end of the race. And the race ended with Max in first, Lando in second, and Charles in third. What did you feel about this race overall?
Okay, so I said last week that I did not have high expectations. I did not think it was going to be a good race. It's a tilt track and everything. But I will eat my words now. It was a
Okay.
good race. It was
Uh
a
huh.
good race, and I regret saying that it was not going to be a good race because that Charles and Lando battle was amazing. The first lap incident wasn't horrible. Like I'm not. It's not like I've watched F1 for the wrecks or whatever.
Right.
But it
Different
was
series.
yes, but it was just a good battle overall. Max just drove away with it. It besides him, and I know a lot of people that don't watch Formula One. It's like, oh, it's always the same person winning. Blah blah blah. There's so much more battles going on, and this race proved it. There's battles throughout the field, and it was a good race.
I want to give a quick shout out to Formula One in general because it sounds like they heard everybody's complaints about the TV direction at Singapore, and they kept showing all the wags, wives and girlfriends.
Yes.
And even in this race, they were showing they had Max in the timing tower. They were showing him winning, but then in the main screen they had various battles that were happening. And if they wanted to show highlight another thing happening, they would just pop it up in the timing tower, which is great. I'm glad they used the timing tower for multi-view kind of situations because that's what it
Yes.
should be for.
I completely agree. I don't understand why it took them so long to do picture in picture and stuff like that because there'd be so many times, and maybe you can attest to this. There's been so many times where it's like there's a good battle and something's happening, and then they're like, here's a replay of the start. Look at this
Uh-huh.
3.6 second start to, or 3 point whatever reaction time to this one. And oh my goodness, according to AWS, he was this much faster. It's like, I don't care about this. I want to watch this battle.
It's like the equivalent of when you're watching a NASCAR race and they cut a commercial and then you come back and it's just the aftermath of a huge wreck. It's
Yeah.
like, well, what happened? Like,
Yes.
and it's not exactly the same, but it is a similar kind of thing. I like the replays in the middle of the race when people have kind of settled into a groove and they're saving tires basically.
Yes.
Because there's always that part in the middle of every F1 race, which I like too because that's when the real chess match starts to happen. But that's also a natural breaking point to be like, all right, here's the start. Let's do this replay. Here's some other things that have happened. Let's do these replays while we have kind of this natural lull in the action before things start to ramp up again for the climax of the race. I hope that the directors continue on this path forever, for as long as they can, because it's perfect. I don't mind if they show celebrity at a race once in a while. I get that. That's PR for the sport. The
Yeah.
sport wants to showcase famous people. Famous people watch this. But at the same time, we know that and we don't need to see every famous person and every partner of everybody in Formula 1. And I think a lot of that is to cater towards a specific demographic of Formula 1 fan who exclusively lives on Twitter and who are crazy and take things a bit too far.
Yes.
But I think I don't care about these. I want to see the racing because that's what they're doing on the track. They're racing.
Yeah, we watch Formula One for not for the racing, not like Alex Albon's girlfriend or Charles Leclerc's girlfriend.
Hmm.
I don't
I'm
even
sure
know
they're
their
very nice
names.
people.
Yes.
That's not what we're here for.
I don't know their names, and I don't particularly care to know their names because I'm here to watch Formula One and not them.
So, just wrapping up a few takes from this race. The last pole position in COTA to finish on the podium was Max in 2022. This is the first time in the sprint era, is what I'm calling it, that we've had a driver had a full Grand Slam. Max got the maximum amount of points you could possibly get in this race weekend between the sprint and qualifying and everything. He got the max. The only thing that I think he didn't he didn't get fastest lap, did he?
No, but we don't award points for that.
I know we don't award points for that
Okay.
anymore, but I'm saying that's a recent thing. So
Yeah. I don't
in
know because
the
like
sprint era,
yeah, because I don't know because I don't even know if they show it anymore, so it's kind of hard to.
they still do. It doesn't matter, but they still show it, and I'm glad they still show it. It's curious.
Yeah,
I'm curious about it. I like seeing the fastest lap.
I think they should
Um,
still get points, but
Again, the McLaren pit stop thing happened.
yeah, what
Still don't
happened?
understand that. I still don't get why the second. 'Cause I thought it was gonna be better because they didn't pit Lando or Oscar and Lando back to back
Yeah,
or back to back laps because I thought that's been the problem. But they waited a couple laps before they brought Lando in after Oscar, and same problem. It was what 3.5 seconds, which so it's not the worst McLaren pit stop that we've seen all season, but it's still 3.5 seconds.
yeah, and in a sport where people are getting sub 3, that's quite a bit.
Uh-huh. Oscar drove really out of character. I'm not sure what was up with Oscar this race. He just didn't feel like he was comfortable in the car. Like he still did fine, but a little part of me wished toward the end of the race that George had caught up to Oscar for selfish reasons because I thought it would have been even more chaotic to bring Lando even closer in the points to him. And then I mean, we can't not talk about Colapinto ignoring the team orders.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know because ultimately it ended up screwing over Pierre. They weren't I mean they were basically fighting to not be last at that point cuz Pierre was holding back um was it Hulk or Bortoletto? It was Bortoletto. It was Pierre, Colapinto and Bortoletto. And Colapinto went on the radio. He's like, "Hey, let me pass. I'm faster." And they said, "No, don't do that because I think their idea was Gasly's slow for whatever reason. He doesn't have the pace. We're using you to cover off Bortoletto for I don't know feel goods
Yeah,
reasons.
feel goods,
It wasn't for points purposes. It doesn't matter at that point. But
especially when you're
it
that far
felt like
down.
that's right. It felt like that's what they were doing. But then Colapinto was like, "Screw it. I'm just gonna go." He has a battle with Pierre in turn one. He pushed him off of the track, and the result of that ended up being Bortoletto passing Gasly too because Pierre just didn't have the pace, and then it ended up the last three were Colapinto, Bortoletto, and Gasly.
Yeah.
It was really weird, and the other weird thing about that to me is it feels like who's the TP of Alpine, that really wild guy.
Oh, I cannot think of his name right now.
He seemed like he was cool with it.
Yeah.
He seemed fine with that whole situation, which again Franco doesn't have a seat for next season. So him doing that kind of shot down any potential reserve driver seat he probably could have gotten because ignoring team orders like that to that level, I think that's kind of a nail in the coffin. Not the final nail, but it is definitely not going to work in your favor. You got to be a team player in this sport. You just have to, especially when job security is so uncertain.
Yeah.
Especially because your job security is so uncertain.
Yeah, but the whole I looked up the team principal and it Fabio I cannot pronounce these guys' names. Briatore. Briatore. I am so sorry. I
Briatore.
Briatore. Thank you. Uh, yeah, him not being surprised or not being shocked is not a surprise. He's also the team principal that was involved in the crash gate and was asked to resign. But I unless Colapinto is trying to like appease him, like, hey, look what I can do for you. Why do it?
Especially again because Pierre has a seat next season. He's
Yeah.
racing for Alpine next season, like it or not. He's there. Let's real quick go through our driver ratings. These are all vibes based ratings. They don't really mean a whole lot other than that's what we thought. So right away with Max, I gave him a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for me too. He was long gone all race.
Lando,
I gave him a 10. Great defending.
I gave Lando a 9 just because it was pretty good defending and it was decent, but he didn't win. That's
Yeah.
essentially what it came out to. And that's going to be completely contradictory to what I gave Charles, which is a 10, but that's because of his defending purely against Lando. Him defending against Lando and then being on that soft tire, that used soft tire again, and doing what he could with that, beautiful. That's a 10 out of 10 drive for me.
Charles, I gave it 10. Great attacking. So I gave great defending and great attacking. I kind of wanted to do it that way just because it was they both did great defending, great attacking.
That's fair. Lewis, I gave him an 8 out of 10. He raced well, and he raced as well as he could, especially with Ferrari's Lyco strategy.
Yeah. I gave Lewis a 10 because he had a great race. He didn't do anything wrong. So, like, well, I'm not going to punish him for that.
Well, somebody's a 10-pilled tonight.
No, that's the last
10. Oscar, I gave him a 7. He was there. He raced.
Yeah.
Like I said, he just felt out of form all weekend, and he kind of has a higher bar because he is the championship leader, and we know that he's a good driver.
That's exactly what I put down. I gave him a 7, and I said expect more from the championship leader. And I also wonder if part of his pace being off was McLaren being cautious about the plank wear, because this track is notorious for the plank wear, and they didn't get a good example from the sprint race.
That is a really good point. The sprint is kind of a good gauge, a decent gauge for race conditions, which I've never really thought about before. So fair. George Russell, I give him a 7 out of 10. He was fine.
I gave him a 6. He had a decent race, but he also lost 4 positions.
Yuki, I gave him an 8 out of 10 because he went from 13th to 7th, and of course he gets the Red Bull. I'm calling it a tax. I don't know if that's the right word. The Red Bull boost, Red Bull bump.
Like
so 8 out of 10 for me.
I gave him a 7 out of 10. I went from 13th to 7th, and I did the max tax, so he got -1. So
the max tax. I forgot about the max tax. Nico Hülkenberg. I gave him a 9 out of 10 because that's a Sauber that he put into 8th place.
Yes,
that's pretty good.
I gave him a 7. He looked great all weekend. Started top 4 at the sprint race. He looked really good this weekend.
Sorry, did I say 8 or 9? Because I gave him a 9 out of 10.
Oh, I don't remember.
8 out of 10 goes to Ollie Behrman.
Ooh.
Fine, solid. I like seeing a rookie in the top 10, especially in a season where we've been pretty spoiled for rookies in the top 10, which that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I gave him a 7 out of 10. Just a solid race from the rookie. Rookie doing rookie things. Not rookie things. Rookie doing veteran things. Sorry.
Well, from one rookie to another, Fernando Alonso. He rounds out the top 10. He did what he could, and I think that's commendable.
I gave him a 6 out of 10. Not a bad race from the old man. He's just... I mean...
The old gray mare.
Yeah.
11th, we got Liam Lawson. Fine, I've given a lot of 7s in this race just because it felt like a pretty solid race from most drivers. Now the 7s are going to stop pretty soon, but Liam has come a long way from the beginning of the season. And granted, the beginning of the season wasn't a Red Bull that is undrivable, but I think he's done a pretty good job of adapting to the V-carb, and I think he really has found himself a home at the V-carb for now.
Yeah, for now, at least. Because their seats are never guaranteed, weirdly enough.
That's true.
I gave him a 6 out of 10 and a little Red Bull quote. Not bad for the number 2 driver.
Lance Stroll, I gave a 7 out of 10. He didn't finish too far behind Fernando, literally a person behind Fernando, a driver behind Fernando. And it's just one of those races where he showed up. It wasn't in points. He didn't get points, but he raced to the point where I was convinced that he wanted to do it.
Yeah, we never know with him if he's gonna show up.
You
Because,
never know. He's so hot and cold.
Lance Stroll, I gave a 5 out of 10. Started P18, finished P12, and a quote from one of our favorite shows: "Not great, not terrible."
Not great, not terrible. Kimi Antonelli, I gave him a 6 out of 10. He got the rookie boost that I give most rookies, but then I also took some points away because despite facts and logic, I still think that he was responsible for that wreck on Carlos, and he just wasn't driving with as much intent as he could have. So he got a 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I gave him a 5 out of 10. It was a good race despite the incident. I mean, the incident was his fault, and I think I put that in my notes. I think I put 55% of the blame on him. I also think that he had that incident and still drove the car pretty high up there. So that's why I gave him a little boost for that.
Alex Albon, 5 out of 10. He raced. He was there. He was legally there, and I know he gained some positions, but I wasn't that impressed,
Legally,
especially with how well Carlos was doing.
Yeah, I gave him a 5 out of 10. He was from P19 to P14, not bad. Still a lot of points, not bad though.
Esteban Ocon, I give a 5 out of 10. Another example of his rookie teammate finishing in the top 10 in the same car, and he can't do it. I'm afraid that Esteban is regressing to the point where I don't know if he's going to be in Formula One much longer.
Yeah, I didn't think about the rookie part, so I want to -1 from that. And it sucks. I like Ocon as a person. I think he's really cool, and I think he's a very likable guy. But yeah, I give him a 4 out of 10. It's gonna suck to not see him.
Isaac Hadjar, I gave a 6 out of 10. Disappointing for me just because I've seen what he's capable of all season. He's so high and he's so low. I want to see more of a consistent middle ground with him, but it's either really, really good weekend or kind of weekend. So 6 out of 10 for me.
I gave him a 4 out of 10. It was a race. He didn't have any incidents or anything, so it would normally be a 5. But one, his lesser, in my opinion, teammate finished better than him, and two, he got the black and white flag within like 10 laps.
He did. It was rough.
Yes.
Moving on to 17th, we have Franco Colapinto. I gave him a 3 out of 10 because of that dumbass move he did on the closing laps. Teamwork, dude. Teamwork. What are you doing? I still don't get it. Your seat is not guaranteed. You don't have a job next year as of right now. What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, it's weird. I gave him 2 out of 10 because I'm keeping up the trend. -1 Alpine tax. You got to pay up.
Gabby, I gave a 5 out of 10. I gave him more than he probably deserved. He was fine. He didn't do anything incredible, and my bar for him is a little higher than where he finished, but I like him, so 5 out of 10.
Full transparency, I did not give him a rating until just now because he was there. Like, it was just besides the one Alpines fighting each other. Like, did he do anything notable?
Yeah, and I guess especially because his teammate finished in the top 10 in the same car, which it's one of those experience versus rookie kind of situations, even though we know that Gabby's good at certain tracks, so maybe this just wasn't his day. And Pierre Gasly, I gave a 4 out of 10. He was fine. I think a lot of this is an issue with the car. Pierre hasn't been great the last couple of seasons, but I think that the Alpine is most of the issue this season for him.
Yep, new regulations next year. Don't forget.
Nothing matters.
I gave Pierre, one of my favorite drivers, 2 out of 10. -1 for the Alpine tax, and it sucks. He's regressing.
And finally, I gave Saints a 1 out of 10 just because of his DNF, and I needed to have a value because eventually I'm going to average up all of these at the end of the season, and we're going to have like an overall season grade for these people. So if you DNF, it's a 1 out of 10 because there needs to be a numerical value. Otherwise, the math doesn't work.
0 out of 10 is still a numerical value, right?
We'll see how Excel likes it.
Okay, because I gave him a 0 out of 10 because He had that incident. Granted, could have been avoidable. Not entirely his fault. It's he DNF'd like 7 laps into the race, so it's very hard to give a rating when I didn't see him drive much.
That's fair. And those are our driver ratings. And we can finally, almost an hour in, finish up, wrap up on Coda. Usually, usually the show is about an hour long, but because it's a back to back weekend of racing, and also we have some news things to discuss, might go a little longer tonight. And the main reason for that is because one of these news discussions is the Apple TV streaming deal in the United States. Now, my initial gut reaction to this and has been for the longest time, I hate it and I like F1 TV too much. It's an incredible value. I pay for the lowest tier. It's $85 a year. It's been $85 a year for the last 4 years that I've been paying. 5 years I've been paying for it. And the race archive and documentaries and shows and everything they do is extremely worth that money. That's why it's an incredible value. And I was cautious about the Apple deal because I didn't know what it would include. And I still don't know if it's going to include. We don't know if it's going to include race archives and all the documentaries and everything. But it doesn't matter because in America, starting next season, I already got the email from F1 TV. In January, we can no longer watch races on F1 TV on the app in America. I am extremely bummed by it, but as I've had more time to think about it and kind of go over more of the news from this week, the coverage on Apple, at least for now, it will be the F1 TV coverage, I think. I hope it also includes the Sky broadcast just because I really like Brundle and Crofty a lot. The F1 TV broadcast is fine. I really like the chemistry of Brundle and Crofty, and I like hearing them talk during the race. The good news is when you do, because if you have an Apple TV Plus account, and fill in any gaps if I'm missing anything, please, you just get the F1 races for free. And there's even going to be some races where you don't even have to have an Apple subscription. You can just watch some of the races for free. Don't know which ones those are. I assume they have to be the American races, Miami, Vegas, and Texas. I assume those would have to be maybe Monaco, the races that are available to the general public. It just feels like that makes sense because you get those on TV broadcast in America right now anyway. I You get the highest tier of this, which means you're going to get the 4K. I believe you're going to get the multi-viewer. So the product itself is fine. And full transparency, we have T-Mobile, so we get Apple TV Plus through that phone plan. So as of right now, I don't have to pay for Apple, but if you do the math, you are paying more annually for if you have an Apple TV Plus account than you would if you had F1 TV. That's just how that's going to work out. But it is like $12 a month, and there are, to be fair, a lot of really cool shows and stuff on Apple. My fiance and I have just watched Severance. We I like to watch For All Mankind. They have the third show that the people who made Band of Brothers, that's on Apple TV. They have a lot of the Tetris movie. Apple TV has a lot of really good stuff and it's really high quality. The F1 movie is going to be on there. It's just I can't get out of my head that it feels like it's a bad idea for the growth of the sport in this country to limit the broadcast to this subscription service that again they are doing very cool things because for the F1 movie they developed a lot of interesting, really cool camera angles and stuff that I expect they're going to implement within the races themselves. And I've even seen reports from the race news website that if you have an iPhone and you're watching it, they can try to integrate some parts like haptic feedback in your phone with phone vibrations
Hmm.
while you're watching the race. If like your favorite driver hits somebody or hits the wall, you kind of get that feedback. And they're including all these special things with for iPhone users. I won't get to experience most of that because I don't have an iPhone. I don't like being in the Apple ecosystem if I don't have to be. but it's cool that they're trying these things to make it interactive. I just don't know if that matters. The sport was growing at a pretty decent clip in the States because of the ESPN deal. People could just throw it on and watch it. And now, with it being boxed in to the Apple ecosystem, it feels like the growth of the sport might see a bit of a bump, but I fear it will stagnate. And because everybody on Apple is going to get the highest tier of the F1 TV experience, I can't imagine Apple won't end up raising their prices because every streamer raises their prices eventually. It's always low to kind of get you in the door, and then after they have enough people, they're just going to keep upping the prices because it always plateaus. You're not gonna get constant growth of new users. At some point, you're gonna plateau, and then you're gonna have to find another way to make money. And this is a 5-year deal, I believe. So at least for the next 5 years, we're locked in to having to watch Formula One on Apple TV.
Yeah. Nothing you said was wrong there. The only thing I caught that you said was wrong, you said Apple TV is $12 a month. It is $12.99. So technically, you're
My
off.
bad.
And you're fine. So here's my thoughts on this.
Okay.
Originally, I think you and I had a conversation about this, and I should have pulled this up beforehand, but I was lackluster about
Sorry
this.
about that rant, by the way. I just kept
No.
rambling. I just kept coming to me.
Yeah, it's fine. It's completely valid, and this is a place for rants and get your wheel takes off and everything. Originally, you sent me the link to the Formula One website about this, and my initial reaction was bleep off, and I was super angry about it. And the article for the F1 was the article F1 put out was just pretty much like, hey, Apple bought this. They're gonna do streaming now in America. Also, did you guys know we did an F1 movie? The F1 movie was made by Apple. Did you guys know that the F1 movie was really good? And besides that, I really did not feel good about this at first. But after taking some time, reflecting on this, it's not a bad idea. I think you hit the nail on the head, though, where the growth stops. Because, yes, there is a lot of people in America that have an Apple device or an iPhone and they have Apple TV. But the Venn diagram, I feel, for the people that have iPhones and the people who like Formula One that's slim. And maybe you can grow one or the other. But I even though I have an iMac back there, I have a MacBook down here. I'm not an Apple guy for the simple fact I love technology. I love seeing technology grow. I think Apple as a whole isn't more a technology company, but they are kind of in the fashion realm. You get an iPhone for the looks. You get an iMac for the looks. Granted, they're M4 chips and M5 chips, pretty solid. You get it mostly for the looks, and I feel like there isn't. I hope I'm wrong. The innovation that comes from a tech company that own this would be great, but it's Apple. I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of innovation to make something new, and that's what kind of scares me.
Like, that's kind of, I understand your concern. That was a concern of mine as well until I saw from the race. I just saw that today, where they brought up you saw the F1 movie, the special camera angles and stuff they had in there in that movie, because I mean they were driving real cars in that
Yeah,
movie. That was an actual thing. They had it rigged up in a way where it was unintrusive and it still kind of gave you these really cool action shots. If they can find a way to implement that, that's cool. I don't care about the iPhone integration of everything. Oh, it's cool. And it might be a way to get more people into the sport itself. So I can see that being a net positive. I just Something about this still isn't quite sitting right with me, but I can't find a problem with it right now, and I'm sure that when a problem does come up with it, it's going to be annoying, but we really won't know until next year. Too early to
yeah.
tell. New regulations. New streaming regulations.
Yeah, I guess I got to make that picture now too.
Mhm.
Another thing that's going to bother me, and I could already kind of predict this, is so F1, remember they had their Apple Vision, their AR goggles, their VR goggles, wherever they were. They're like
Hmm.
stupidly expensive, not great for what they were, in my opinion. I feel like it's going to be, hey, you can drive a car like this and be in VR only if you have this. And I feel like they're going to target the demographic of people that have extreme money and influencers, like, say,
Hmm.
MKBHD or somebody. I like his YouTube and everything, but he would be the perfect demographic to be like, wow, I drove an F1 car or type of YouTube video. And it's going
Hmm.
to be him wearing Apple Vision. It's like, cool. So they're targeting and they're putting all this R&D and all this money into something that only like a certain percentage of people that watch Formula One can use.
It's
I,
more about vanity than the product
yes,
at that point,
yes,
with the
it's
product in this case being Formula One, the racing, not, you know, their products that they're developing. I guess what my primary one of my primary concerns is that Apple is such a historically has been such a very insular company to the point where it literally took a law in the UK, I think, for them to start standardizing their charging ports.
yep, the EU.
And it's the EU. Thank you, EU, for everything. It's just it rubs me the wrong way that they are just going to keep doing this very predatory, continue down this very predatory path somehow. And maybe it'll be fine. Maybe I'm just overreacting because I just don't like the Apple ecosystem, like I've said. But I just still get a little. I'm going to cautiously subscribe to it. As of right now, I can't think of any tangible reason why this isn't fine. I'm just basically speculating and worrying myself. I'm creating a problem and then worrying about my created problem. But as far as the facts that we know and everything that's been on the table, this feels like it's fine. I'm going to miss the old race archive in case I ever, for some reason, want to rewatch 2021 again. I'm going to miss the documentaries and the shows if they don't have a way to integrate those within the Apple servers, which I have a feeling they won't, just because it's a lot. But I think that overall it's fine. I think it's fine. It should be okay.
Yeah, I see your side, and I kind of agree with you, but I'm leaning more on the sides of, from my vantage point of Apple hasn't done anything like innovative in my eyes that hasn't already been done before. So like it's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be just slightly. I feel behind in a few years. I feel like it's not going to keep up, and that's like kind of what my feeling is going forward. I'm still going to watch races. I love Formula One,
Mhm. Yeah, of course. And I
but
mean, we're
yeah,
still going to be here and we're still going to talk about it every week. It's just going to be
now,
different.
yeah, I just thought about this. So I know Netflix doesn't allow you to share accounts outside of household, all that stuff. You have Apple TV. Does that allow you to?
I don't know. I guess I've never tried it.
Because right now it might be against Formula One TOS. So I'm sorry, FIA, if you're watching this. My buddy and I share a Formula One account to watch the races. We
Hmm.
go back and forth paying each year. So am I going to have to buy a or Apple TV subscription now instead of doing this?
You might
I
have to see. And I was the same with my dad because I got my dad into Formula One and I let
yeah
him use my account and we could both watch the race at the same time and it
yeah.
didn't affect anything. That's the other great thing about F1 TV. It was just a lot of people complained about it, but all the complaints that people have had about F1 TV, I've never come across. I've never had an issue with F1 TV. It's
I
always been great.
Yeah, the only issues I've ever had with anything related to F1 TV would be my own Chromecast because it's old or whatever. But F1
Hmm.
TV was amazing. You can watch 6 devices simultaneously and all this, and it was really cool. And I don't. I just hope Apple doesn't mess this up. That's it. I'm going into it, but I'm going to it with skepticism.
Yep, that's what I said earlier, cautiously subscribing. So there's all of that. Let's move on to this next bit of news. Colton Herta, the Cadillac test driver,
Yeah, I've heard
he's
of him.
also now a Formula 2 driver. The
Oh,
26-year-old former IndyCar driver is going to finally get into Formula 2, driving for High Tech GP. He will be joining the likes of Nikita Mazepin, Liam Lawson, Jack Crawford, Isaac Hadjar, Paul Aaron, and a bunch of others, but those are kind of the recent highlights.
I've heard of them.
Hmm. This is fun. I'm going to start watching more Formula 2. I've always kind of wanted to watch Formula 2, but it's a little harder just because it's a little not harder, I guess. It's harder for me to get into just because it is just different enough from Formula 1 as far as the point structure and the team structure goes that it's a little confusing for me to try to keep up with. And at the end of the day, it is a feeder series. But what this is signaling to me is that Cadillac obviously wants to start laying the groundwork pretty early to have him get enough license points to race in Formula One, replacing either Checo or Valtteri. And I said this last week. I said that this, I think it was last week. I said this at one point. This is exactly what I think Cadillac has been trying to do from the jump. They're going to use Valtteri and Checo to develop the car so then they can bring in new blood. And this new blood, old for Formula One, is going to be um it's going to be Colton Herta. It just is. I don't know what that timeline is. I imagine it'll be relatively soon within the next what did I say? 3 years, 5 years? But Cadillac, I mean they obviously want an American driver in the American team
Yeah.
and he has open wheel experience. I'm going to be interested to see how he adapts to the F2 car just because F2 and Indy are completely different beasts. But I am excited, and I think that next season we both need to just kind of keep our eye on how he does in F2 to see if we can kind of gauge when he's going to jump into F1.
Yeah, I the new Andretti or Cadillac team principal even said before that like when they made all the announcements of the drivers and everything, they asked him about the American team, and he's like, "Yeah, I think it's time we bring an American back." And I think their goal might be to have Colton Herta have the points and have the experience and be ready by the time they get their engine ready. That's my just speculation. I don't know any sources on that. By the time their
Hmm.
engine ready and they are full Cadillac ready to go, like they're going to be all Cadillac, no Ferrari engine or whatever they're going to be using. I think that's when he's going to be good to go.
That's I think that's fair. Those are the biggest news pieces I think that have come out of this last week. The Apple
Yeah.
thing, of course, the Apple news dropped the day after you and I recorded. I woke up to that news the very next morning, and I'm like, son of a. Of course, this happened.
Yes. Yeah. I
The same thing with the news about um Herta. I keep forgetting his name. This is really bad for me. The same with
must
the news
hurt
about
so.
Herta though. It's it's just of course it's the Friday news dump. That's what we call it. It's
Yeah.
really inconvenient but funny at the same time.
Yeah, it's every time we get finished recording the next day, it's like, hey, this happened. It's like, we should have a segment where we predict what's going to be dropping the next day.
Oh god. Let's move on to Mexico. I love this track. This track is very fun. A part of the track goes through an old baseball stadium, which is
Yes.
extremely underrated, by the way. That's awesome. And I'm biased because in F1 21, this is the first F1 race that I had ever won was at
Hmm,
Mexico. So there we go. It's just a
nice.
fun track. Last year, Carlos Sainz won it the last time that a Ferrari had won a race outside of sprints. And Lando got second, and Charles got third. Last Ferrari double podium.
Hmm.
It was
Line
the
it up.
248th win for Ferrari. It was Carlos Sainz's fourth win, and it was Charles's 10th fastest lap. And overall, for the Ferrari engine, it was their 249th win.
Wow.
Yes. As far as, let's see if I can pull up the exact, just some highlights of last season. Started
Uh,
using a new season tracking stats
ooh,
website.
nice.
Um,
Nothing
Never
really
mind.
jumping
I
out. Huh.
I was in the wrong category because I'm a goofball.
I was gonna say, I'll speak on Mexico. It's a weird tilt track that I don't mind. It's
Hmm.
weird. It's weird for me to say that. The first little bit, it's like a sharp right-hander, which is or left-hander, or wherever direction sharp is a like a signature of Tilg, but it's that weird like long stretched out chicane because it's like right straight for a little bit, left straight for a little bit. It's like a weird chicane, but it's like stretched out, and I like that. I like the stadium section. I think that's awesome. I love the celebration at the very end. The crowd in that particular section, that's where they do, instead of doing it at the start finish line, they do it in the stadium. I think it's awesome.
Hmm.
I love
It's
the whole
really cool.
spectacle around it.
So last season, notable events: Yuki and Alex both DNF'd with a crash before the race even started, and Fernando Alonso, his brakes broke by
Oh,
lap 15.
brakes
Otherwise,
breaking.
it was a pretty solid race. Um, Everybody was a lap down, starting from ninth, which is insane. So Nico, Pierre, Lance, Franco, Esteban, Valtteri, Zhou. Oh, I like Zhou. I miss Zhou Guan Yu. I really like him.
Yeah,
Liam Lawson was racing at this point, Sergio, etc. They were all a lap down. So wow, only 8 cars on the lead lap.
yeah,
I
that's the
don't remember.
downside.
I don't remember a lot from this race other than it was a strange race where Max only led the first 8 laps, and then Carlos took over from lap 9 to 71. So incredible race from Carlos, and
Yeah.
a great final Ferrari win for him as well.
This track does have one of my favorite Daniel Ricciardo moments. One of them. I can do a top 5 list. I feel of that. But anyways, where he goes to pass somebody, he does like the as he passes him.
Mhm.
Just, while you're driving, going 200 miles an hour, just finger guns.
I'm I am excited. This is one of my favorite tracks. I feel like they always bring the energy, and I can't even begin to imagine how awesome it's going to be next year when Cadillac is back. Because obviously, I mean, we remember in 2021 or 22 when Sergio won the race and his dad, or
Yes.
did he win or did he get second? And Sergio's dad was just like
Yeah,
everywhere.
I think he was on the. I don't think he was on the podium, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he even won, but it was such a party, and it is. I mean, it is just such a party, and I think that it's a really good energy. The only
hmm
other place that I think matches the energy of this race is Brazil.
Monza.
Monza's pretty good, but I don't
Okay.
know. I think Brazil might bring it more than Monza.
Yeah.
I
Okay. I
do.
see. I think I kind of see what you're saying. Monza brings the energy, especially for Ferrari. Everywhere
Hmm.
else brings the energy for the race.
Exactly. If you would like to watch this race, you can still watch it on ESPN or F1 TV for now. It is at 3 o'clock Central, which I, again, affectionately call God's time because Central time is the best time. I don't care what anybody says.
I agree with you.
Uh, another another highlight from this race is just in FP1. Usually, FP1 is when teams put their reserve drivers in to get them laps and experience in the cars. Now, normally it's only maybe one or two teams per race
Yeah.
that do it, but I guess we're so close to the end of the season that 8 different drivers from 8 different teams, basically every team is putting in their reserve, especially in McLaren. And I mean, I don't know why I said especially McLaren. But Pato Award is going to
hmm
be in McLaren for Norris, which makes sense. You know, Mexico. He is both a Mexican and American. I think he races under the Mexico flag in Indy, so of course that makes sense. Fuoco
Fuoco?
is going to
Yeah.
replace Hamilton and Ferrari. I don't know anything about him. I'm going to be honest. Do you know anything about Fuoco?
No, I don't. There's a couple of these I do know or don't know. They basically, I put this in the thing. It's just crazy that there's 8 people doing this. I
Hmm.
know the Hiraka is Japanese. I think that or
Hirakawa.
Hirakawa. It's that Toyota. I think kind of side of
Hmm.
it, and then I obviously like Aaron.
Yeah, I'm excited for Jack Crawford because Jack Crawford is another American in Formula 2 that people just kind of. I think the Cadillac and the Herta news have kind of swept Jack Crawford under the rug. He's a solid F2 driver, and I think he was always meant to be the first American in Formula One. I just think that Aston thought that they were going to bring him in, or not first. I shouldn't say first American because I was gonna say in this era, but that's not even true because we had what's his face, Logan Sargent.
Yeah. R.I.P.
But it feels like Jack Crawford is better than Sargent, and he was kind of the prince that was promised. But now I think that Herta is kind of overtaking it, which, as an American, wanting more American drivers in the sport. This is an incredible problem to have.
Yeah.
It's cool that we've had more American drivers in this era than it seems like we've had in a while, trying to be competitive and trying to get that seat in Formula One. I do think ultimately it will end up being Herta, but I it's a positive thing either way.
Yeah. It just sucks that he is his. I don't know if he would have another seat, but at Aston Martin, he has two concrete blocks that will not leave their seats. One,
Yeah.
Fernando Alonso will literally go to the grave with the wheel in his hand. I feel.
Oh geez, I hope not.
No, no, no. I'm not saying he's going to die on the track. I'm saying he's going to keep on going until. Well, let me rephrase that. I think he's going to go until he can't go no more. And
Okay, understandable.
and Lawrence will not get rid of his son.
All right, let's move on to our predictions. So last week, I'm getting ahead of myself. We do 2 regular predictions and then a bold prediction. So that's 3 total. Lewis, what was your first prediction?
My prediction was no safety car. Technically, there was no safety car on track. It was a virtual. It's good. Teacher, couldn't that go?
We'll give it to you.
Okay. What was yours?
My first prediction was Oscar wins. That super didn't happen. Felt like it could. It didn't. What was your second prediction?
Double points for V-Carb. I really felt good about
Ooh.
that one. That did not happen.
It did not happen. My second prediction was Max would get pole. That did happen.
Yeah, that did happen. My bold prediction. Remember, it was bold. This is going to be out there. Ferrari podium.
Yes.
Yes, it did happen.
Yes, it did happen. Okay, so you had the teacher safety car for yours. My bold prediction was there will be a multi-car wreck involving at least 3 or more cars. Now, it happened in the sprint, but I didn't specify it had to happen in the race. The actual race.
I'll allow it if you say that a sprint should be a part of this weekend. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you can have it. I think I can't convince you of it because I can't convince myself of that.
Well, we are continuing our trend of us having the exact same amount of right and wrong predictions, by the way. You got 2 right, I got 2 right.
Yeah, we're just really good at predicting 2 of the 3. We have, what is that, 66% of correct answers?
Hey, you only need to hit the ball 33 or 30% of the time to be a Hall of Famer in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays with baseball, you can hit the ball, like you can have a 250 average and be an all-star, which is annoying.
Yeah, well, everybody
Yeah.
needs to get in, which as a Rockies fan, I'm fine with. I like having at least one player in the All-Star game. Not that it matters, it's the All-Star game.
Yeah,
now we are going.
Okay, go. I was going off topic. You can continue.
Let's continue with our predictions for Mexico. I will let you do the first one.
Okay, my prediction, just kind of going off of this, I put start first, end first, meaning whoever will start first will end in first place. It's kind of a bold, but not really. I think this track has a lot of availability for that to come true.
Okay. Mine, let me know if mine is too general, okay? And I'm happy to make it a little more targeted. But someone unexpected will get pole.
Would that
Is that too broad? Should I narrow it down?
I will kind of, but like, are you meaning the first time this year they'll get pole, or are you saying someone that hasn't
Just at this track, somebody who we don't think would get pole? Because I think at this point it's either Max, Lando, or Oscar, right?
So Charles would be unexpected. I can see that. You know what? I'll allow it.
Charles would be unexpected. George would be unexpected in my eyes.
George, I wouldn't. Yeah, I could, because George he's capable of podiums. He's done it.
Yeah. Should I rework that?
I'm okay with it. Because I feel like we can agree on the unexpected part on that one. My next prediction is Max wins. I think he's going to keep up the streak. I think he's going to bring this energy and bring it to the final. I think the championship battle. Ooh, what was that word? battle will
Bottle.
go
You really
bottle.
bottled that word.
I know. I think it will go down to the Middle East. And I'm not saying it's going to go down to Abu Dhabi. I'm saying like other tracks of the Middle East towards the end of the season.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good one. My next prediction is going to be Saints is going to get finish in the points. He's really comfortable at this track. Obviously, he likes this track, and the way he's been performing in the Williams lately. If you ignore the thing that I still don't think was his fault
Okay.
this last weekend, I think that Saints has a good chance of finishing in the points at the end of the race.
Okay. My bold prediction time. This is bold, and it's going to be coming out of left field for me. I hope you're ready and you are braced and everything.
Uh huh.
Alpine will score a point.
Okay. So at first I'm like, what the hell? But then I thought about it a little more. Yeah, no, that's bold. That's a really good one. It's a really good one. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
just Alpine to score a point. Just a
single
singular point.
Just finish 10th. That's all I
Yeah.
need. That's incredible. My bold one I feel like is insanely bold, and I should probably save this one for in a couple weeks from now, but screw it. I'm gonna say that Bortoletto gets a podium.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
I would say that's bolder than mine.
It is bolder, and there's no actual reason that it would happen. Literally, there's no reason it should happen. There's no way in hell it will happen. But bold prediction, so we're gonna do it. Why not?
That is bolder than Colorado.
Nice.
See what I did there?
We are going to let that one rip. And of course, our favorite game, the grid gamble. This is the game that we like to play between us, where every driver is assigned a value 1 to 20, and I roll a 20-sided dice. And wherever that lands is the driver that you are adopting for the race. Wherever points they finish is the points that you get. Last week, Lewis rolled Kimi Antonelli, who
I
scored
did.
0 points. And I rolled Carlos Sainz, who scored 0 points.
Yeah,
So
ironic. Yeah, the accident. It was both of us.
it was, wasn't it? I didn't make that connection until right this second. So, oh my god, did we cause that?
I don't know. Didn't we have something like that last week too?
With not with Hamilton and Stroll, or you mean
Okay.
prediction wise?
Maybe it was prediction wise that we had an issue. Yeah, so we might. Ooh, the Formula Friday curse.
It continues. So
Yes.
the points total right now, I have 29 and Lewis has 5, and the only reason I have 29 is because I got Max once and he won the race.
Yeah.
So here's the dice. Lewis, I'm still going to give you the opportunity to decide if you want the first pick or not, because the first pick seems to be, or the second pick seems to be cursed. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to?
You can go first. I'm okay with it.
Okay. I'm rolling the formula dice right now. I got 17.
Ooh.
That is Liam Lawson.
Ooh, I am so sorry.
That's fine. You needed to make a comeback.
Yeah. Well, the only
Right.
way I can really make a comeback is if I get like somebody like Max Verstappen. Please.
I'm glad that I rolled Liam Lawson, by the way, because I was starting to feel really bad about my rolls, and I didn't want people to think that I was like intentionally cheating or something.
Yeah.
All right, rolling for you now. 19.
Oh, I get. Whoa, we get the
You
V
get
carbs.
Isaac again.
We get the V carbs.
We do have the V carb connection, so we're both V carb fans this weekend.
I'm okay with it.
You've had Isaac before, and Isaac is he got you a point, so
Yeah.
that's not bad.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, and that has been Formula Friday. Do you have any other thoughts about anything we've talked about today?
No, I think we hit that. Oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've talked this much. We hit the nail on the head today. I think we got over everything great, and I think we did a great job.
Perfect. Next week we'll be back to talk about Mexico and go over any other news that will inevitably drop within the next 5 hours, because that's just how it be. But until next time, I've been Nick. That's been Lewis. This